Good afternoon, friends. This is Kumud Lata Das, Advocate on Record, Supreme Court. Introducing myself to you. A. As an advocate on record. B. As a friend of yours. You may have been seeing me on the Facebook. You may have been in one of the groups of the WhatsApp, of which several lawyers are a member. Now today, in this period of lockdown, where everything is almost at a standstill, Supreme Court decided on 23rd of March that it would be conducting its cases through video conferencing. Now, following the pattern of the Supreme Court, all the high courts in the country and the subordinate courts, that is the district courts, other tribunals also have adopted the same thing. Now, for online filing, in other courts, any advocate can file his matter. He has to inform the registry or the registrar and get his matter listed and arguing it by way of a video conferencing. Now, what is the difference between all the other courts and the Supreme Court filing? Now, Supreme Court filing is through an advocate on record. An advocate on record is a qualification which is given to an advocate after he clears the examination conducted by the Supreme Court. Now, advocacy has got only this particular examination and it is only conducted by the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court came into being, this examination was not there. The Supreme Court rules were framed in 1966. 1966 introduced the system of agents. They were the advocates who would facilitate the filing of the cases in the Supreme Court and pursuing the cases. So it was an agent who was the link between the litigant and the court. Now thereafter, several procedures got introduced. Initially, it was 3 years of practice as an advocate, 1 year of training with an advocate on record, which made you eligible to take the advocate on record exam. It was subsequently increased to 7 years of practice, which was opposed by the advocates, and the system introduced from 1990 beginning was that an advocate should have completed 4 years of his practice and he should undergo 1 year of training with an advocate on record. Now, who can train as an advocate on record? An advocate who has been practicing as an advocate on record for 10 years. Now, let me give you a very brief introduction of what is this examination. Advocate on record is an examination comprising of 4 parts. Now, first paper is practice and procedure. The second paper is drafting. The third paper is professional ethics and the fourth paper is leading cases. Now, by the very title, leading cases, you can make a guess that leading cases are those cases which have laid down the law in the country. Now, there is a syllabus prescribed for the leading cases. You get a list of cases and interestingly, these cases, the headlines which are in the Supreme Court reports are provided to an examinee who is undergoing to take the advocate on record exam in the examination hall. But can an advocate who gets the notes from the Supreme Court reports read there and then write an exam? No. He has to know the case, he has to know the headlines, he has to know the gist of the case, and it is only once he knows what the case is about, this case material or the material which are provided in the examination hall can be of help. Now, leading cases, I call it the master paper because it covers your paper of professional ethics, it covers your practice and procedure, it covers your drafting. Now, drafting is confined to the cases which are drafted and filed in Supreme Court, which are under the Supreme Court rules. Now, Supreme Court does not follow the Civil Procedure Code or the Criminal Procedure Code. It has got rules of its own, except for Certain provisions like review, it depends upon the Civil Procedure Code. For substitution of the legal heir, it depends on the Civil Procedure Code. Now, Supreme Court has got an extraordinary jurisdiction of enhancement of sentence, which is not provided to any other court of the country. In addition to the Supreme Court is also empowered with the constitutional provision of Article 142, and in order to do complete justice, it can call any case from any court in the country and it can decide a case. Now, a very popular case which is known is B.R. Kaushik versus the Supreme Court Bar Association, which was a suit filed in the trial court, that is Tisari Court, and it was the suit which was directly taken up by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court decided as to who would be the practitioners of the Supreme Court, who are the regular practitioners of the Supreme Court, and there is a detailed procedure of who are the advocates. Now, for advocate on record, what is provided is under Order 4 of the Supreme Court rules as to how this examination is conducted. After you have qualified the examination, you have to get registered as an advocate on record, and thereafter you can do the filing. So this is a brief introduction of the advocate on record examination. Now, let me tell you the situation which is presently being faced by those who are aspiring to take the examination of 2020. The examination to be conducted in June 2020 has been cancelled. There is no further notification. Now, I know this institution of Supreme Court since 1991 when I practiced and 1997 when I became an advocate on record. And during those times, the advocate on record examination was conducted twice a year. It was in June and it was in December, which is the summer vacation and the winter vacation. Now, those two examinations were cancelled, and now for the past more than a decade, the exam is conducted once a year. But since the examination for June 2020 is cancelled right now, we do not know when the examinations will be held. We will wait for the notifications. But then there is always little time for an advocate who is aspiring to take this advocate on record examination. And this period, when the courts are taking limited cases, it is good that an advocate can start his preparation for the advocate on record examination. I, along with some of my friends, am planning to start an online training program for the advocate on record examination. Very soon we would be notifying on a video online that what would be the modalities, what would be the timing of those lecture series. Then we can also have one-to-one interaction, and wish you all the best. Do be safe, be at home. Do go through this lockdown period, but everything is not through a lockdown. Advocate on record examination will be conducted soon once the normalcy is restored, and hopefully I think it might be in 2020 December. Thank you very much. Looking forward to your response.